breaking news.
We ran the numbers, and what we found was a tragedy in motion, a catastrophe not just of dollars and cents, but of values, of vision, of basic human decency. In order to estimate the costs of a long-term mass deportation operation, we examined what it would take to arrest, detain, process, and deport 1 million human beings per year. Just 1 million. And even that figure reflects the more modest dreams of those who want to see families shattered and futures erased. Conservative, they call it. Even if, somehow, 20% of undocumented people were terrified enough to self-deport, a phrase that should haunt anyone with a conscience, we still arrive at an annual cost of $88 billion. That's nearly $1 trillion over just one decade. $1 trillion. To build detention camps, to maintain them, to cage people, to process them through a bloated, overburdened system that would need to grow 24 times larger than it is today, just to handle the volume. 24 times. That's the scale of cruelty required. And yet, even that $967.9 billion price tag is conservative. We couldn't even fully calculate what it would cost to hire the tens of thousands of new agents, or expand ICE Air to fly deportation charters en masse. There are so many hidden expenses, legal, logistical, moral, that the actual total would likely dwarf our estimate. Let that sink in. To deport 1 million people a year for over a decade, the United States would need to create a permanent, militarized machine of displacement, thousands of new immigration courtrooms, thousands of judges, an infrastructure built to remove, not to restore. And what would we get in return for that almost trillion-dollar cruelty? We'd shatter our economy. The GDP would drop by up to 6.8%, worse than the Great Recession. Tens of billions of dollars in tax contributions from undocumented workers, gone. In 2022 alone, these communities contributed $46.8 billion in federal taxes, $29.3 billion in state and local taxes, $22.6 billion to Social Security, and $5.7 billion to Medicare. But we would sacrifice all that just to, what? Punish people who pick our crops, clean our homes, and build our cities? But even these numbers don't capture the real price. Because it's not just about money. It's about children, 5.1 million U.S. citizen children, who live with undocumented family members. This policy would rip families apart. It would destroy childhoods, collapse households, and leave millions of young Americans traumatized, fatherless, motherless, afraid. The emotional devastation is incalculable. But this administration, should it return, appears to relish this destruction. President Trump, instead of leading with vision or compassion, plays the role of a petty tyrant, the Antichrist in a business suit, eager to burn everything down just to watch it smolder. He could choose to do good. He could choose unity, healing, prosperity. But no, hatred is more addictive than hope. So let's talk about what could be done with that money. Let's imagine a different America. Over 40,000 new elementary schools, bringing education and opportunity to every corner of this country. 2.9 million new homes, making a real dent in the housing crisis. Head Start funded for 79 years, transforming the lives of low-income children for generations. Free college tuition, 4.3 million private college students, or 8.9 million public university students fully covered, or give 20 million Americans a brand new vehicle. That's what one decade of deportation steals from us. And just one single year of this madness, $88 billion, could instead fund twice the entire annual budget of the National Institutes of Health, 4 times NASA's budget, 3 times what we spend on child nutrition, more than the total cost of the child tax credit, and 18 times what the entire world spends on cancer research each year. 18 times if they cared about children, about health, about science, about stability, about America. But they don't. They care about spectacle, fear, division, power, control. We stand at the edge of a choice, between building a better future or funding the machinery of despair. Do not let them waste your country's soul chasing ghosts.